This is a little too much romance for me.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
New for 96. With your hosts, Kevin McCauley and Chris Nguyen.
What do we got?
I don't know.
All right.
All right. We're just chatting here.
Yeah.
We're warming up.
Warming up.
Warming
Warming
up
up the
here.
pipes.
Yeah. Warming up the pipes here. I hate that phrase.
Really?
Yeah. Your pipes? You got
Yeah.
one pipe. Don't you?
Maybe. Nasal pipe, trachea.
I don't think none of those are pipes. Well, your trachea. No, your trachea is like part of your pipe.
Yeah. Oh, esophagus. That's the pipe.
I think that's the pipe.
Trachea. Separate.
Yeah. I mean,
Not
does,
related.
does the pipe just keep going until it opens up the other end?
Yeah.
That's a lot of pipe. That's a lot of pipe to open up.
There's no way we're leaving this in.
This is educational.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to interrupt you.
Uh-huh.
This is not a notes. This was not in the notes. I had a car thing you should do.
Uh-huh. Yes.
I'm telling you a car you should buy.
You're telling me
Yeah.
a car that I should buy?
Yes.
Okay.
You should buy a 1M.
I thought about it, but prices are
But here's the thing.
high.
I feel okay. I feel like a 1M, you're not gonna change anything. You won't have to change anything, and
Yes.
someone else will have kept it because it is more of a collector-ish car.
Yes.
So it will be right from the beginning,
Yes.
and you won't lose money on it.
Yes. That is true.
Like that just seems like a cool 1 year ownership proposition.
yeah.
It,
I mean,
like
it could
more
be fun.
than even a 997, you're gonna have to fix some things or undo some things
Yeah.
or tailor it for some way or something like that.
Yeah.
This could be, you kind of know what you're getting.
Yeah. I mean, I'm into the idea. I wish I had maybe jumped on that one that was actually local for, I think they were asking 40,000 or something for it.
Yeah.
And that it was just because it was the highest mileage one, which was 60,000 miles. So that's nothing.
Yeah.
But I think I like the idea of that. I want to get a BMW of some kind.
That seems more than any of the cars kind of trading in this area or that you're interested in.
Yeah.
It's like a car where it will be
Yeah.
just how you want it out of the box. You could sell it for more than you paid for it, almost guaranteed.
Yeah, if I can find the right one. Everyone's just asking so much for everything right now, and it is the market. The market is perfect for people who don't want to do any form of maintenance to their cars, and will still sell their cars. Probably actually sell their cars for premium right now, and it's really dumb. So, it's
Terrible.
the most frustrating thing is the E46 M3 thing because
Yeah.
the big three things that you're supposed to take care of: subframe, vanos, rod bearings. People are now admitting that they have not done this yet in the listings, and then
Then charging a premium.
for their 130,000 mile car, they will ask $30,000 for it, and
Yeah.
it's so dumb.
Yeah.
But yeah, that turns me off just a little bit right now, just from even picking up a car of any kind.
For sure. Yeah.
Because now I'm dubious. If I find one for a good price, it's
Yeah.
surely you must have an internet connection. So
Yeah. So if you were looking at 1M, you wouldn't have those things.
yeah, true.
Just the fact that it's newer, it's going to be less miles, it's going to be less likely to be modified or anything. It's just going to be, you can probably just drive it.
Yeah, I always avoided turbocharged BMWs.
Yeah. Well, now you need one to go with your turbocharged Mercedes.
I should have both a twin turbo and a bi-turbo. I'll have all of the
Is it?
things
Oh,
for
God.
two.
Is this recording?
I don't think so.
God damn it.
I forgot to put a tape in the machine in
Yeah.
our Talk Boy.
Okay. Well, how are you, Chris?
I'm doing fine, Kevin. How are you?
Good. Thank you for articulating my name so clearly so
Yes.
the fans know.
Well, I rarely enunciate your name. It's just more of a sound. So, I don't like to waste syllables on unnecessary pronunciations. So,
That's fair.
I know. but I'm fine. It's very hot in Houston right now,
Yes.
therefore making it extremely hard to like drive our old cars with very bad ACs. Mine worse than
Yeah.
yours.
Yeah. Today
So
was one of those days where the hand sanitizer, like I went to the grocery store and you put the hand sanitizer and it just turns to goo on your hand because it's so humid that it doesn't actually
yeah,
evaporate into the air.
yeah. No, it's
It gets
terrible.
wetter on your hands.
Oh, I like now avoid trying like going outside because it is just so humid here in like the Gulf of Mexico.
Yes.
And we are kind of in like the taintish area
Yeah.
of the Gulf too. I don't know if it makes it any
Right,
worse than
right.
other parts of it, but it's
Right. But this
unpleasant.
is it's not a pleasant time of year where it's raining every day and it's nasty and it's hot
Yeah, I
also.
know. So I actually tried to take the 911 out for like I kept it out for a weekend and I tried to make it work. I was like, I'm just not gonna sweat. I will myself not to sweat. It will be fine. Like I
Hmm.
will, be pulling out of the garage. The car will be cool. I've recharged the AC, and then like 10 minutes later, like makeup running, like shirt stuck to my back, like in the worst way possible, and I regret it. But I tried to make it work for like a weekend, and it's impossible. Like the AC just cannot keep up.
It's tough right now. It's
I
it's
know.
not even the heat, it's the humidity, like you said. It's all too
I
much.
know. And like that's the one thing I think I don't know if it's the next thing that I might consider doing just to make the car a little more enjoyable like during the summer, but I might try to just do a complete refresh and do something
But
people
just keep in mind,
claim.
I think that there's still limits on how enjoyable it will be.
There are internet rumors that people can make the car like blow ice cold AC like a modern car. I'm dubious, and I don't know if it requires like replacing the rear window with a window AC unit, but I'm willing to try. I have a shelf that is my career tail,
Yeah,
so it will support that AC unit.
that's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
I don't know. Right now, like I dread taking it out. So I guess I won't see it for like another 2 months.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, if you can take it, if you can just be early in the morning, like I went to Catalina, I went at 8:30 and I got back and it was fine.
Oh my God, 8:30 is so early.
Yeah, all right. Um, anyway, what else we got?
How the car's running? How's your wagon doing?
It's fine. It's
Yeah, that's right.
dirty.
Because you have a Japanese car and it's fine. When was the last time you had an issue with that car?
Um, in like January, I had to replace like the AC compressor.
Oh, yeah, that was kind of a
It
big
was
one.
kind of a big
Well, never
one.
mind. That completely like destroyed my like segue into talking about me, which was my wagon.
Yeah.
Since you asked,
Oh yeah, I did.
yeah, my wagon recently,
Your
like
E63 wagon.
my E63 AMG wagon, got its first CEL
Is
check
it the
engine
first?
light. It's the first one.
Okay.
Well, I got a second one because I just cleared the first one, so and it came back. So it's in theory an O2 sensor, and it may be related to other things. I'm not quite sure. But our friend Jordan at Modern Air Cooled checked it out for me because he and I right now are in an AMG emotional support group of
Yes.
sorts. Because he also at the same time bought an S65 AMG.
He talked about it on the pod.
He did, and I don't know if at the time though it was in the state that it is currently in, which is to say not one piece.
Well, now it's back together.
Is it back together?
Well, no.
Okay.
I'll tell you. We'll talk about it off air.
Well, the last time I saw it, it was on a lift and the transmission was out.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
it was not doing well. It wasn't like inoperable. It just was not in its as perfect as
Right.
it could be. So,
Yes.
anyways, but my car is it's like it's fully functional. I'm gonna take it in to get it looked at, and if it's just the O2 sensor, I'll just get it replaced. It's fine. I did notice, like, I actually can't tell if the gas mileage has actually dropped or I've just been driving harder, but I think right now it's averaging 13 and a half, which sounds about right. And a couple weeks ago when the CEL had first popped up, it was getting like a Land Cruiser reminiscent 10 and a half, actually on the high side there for the Land
Maybe
Cruiser.
you're using more AC. I don't know.
Oh, maybe. I don't really use AC all that. I don't blast it. I do use the cooled seats a lot.
But don't you have like auto climate on?
I do.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't blast the AC like I think most people do. Even though I've just complained about like the lack of AC. There's no median for me. So, or this is the median for me. I set it at 78, 79 in the car on a 100-degree day,
What the?
which is like Arctic
Yeah.
climate control.
Mm-hmm.
So, plus, okay, I hate this. I hate that I love this so much because I thought it was just a gimmick at first, but I use the massaging seats like almost every single drive.
That's good.
Yeah, it's not like it doesn't. I don't know. I think the modern cars have a lot more. I don't know what to call it, like articulation, I guess, with the thing, because this is just basically an air tube.
Mm-hmm.
It's basically a bunch of bladders up and down the backside that inflate linearly up and down. It's actually kind of nice. Like I thought at first, I just thought like, oh, it was just like lumbar support that keeps moving around on its own.
Yeah.
But like on kind of like a longer drive or something, like it's kind of nice. It just kind of, I don't know, soothes you.
That's
So
good.
it's not a gimmick. It's a lot better than the massaging seats in the Celsior, which was basically the equivalent of putting a quarter in a motel bed, and it just vibrated you. So, although
I forgot it had that.
I know, me too, because it was only in the back seats.
Yeah.
I never got to experience the comforts of that car because it was always in the back seat,
That's so funny.
and I was always the one driving. So
Wow.
I know. I have been thinking about getting a third car again, even though I said, finally,
Mm-hmm.
the stress is being relieved. Now that I only have two cars, I don't have to like think about how the third car is doing as it sits there. And I don't know. I'm poking around at the idea again, on and off, but it like I mentioned earlier, like the used car market right now is
Yeah,
just
it's
dumb.
yes.
So I do miss like having a JDM car of some kind because it did give kind of like a nice flip of the senses a little bit, and therefore like a slight sense of occasion, even the most norm core of cars. So, but even those are kind of doing hot right now. So,
Wow.
I don't know, but if I did get a JDM car though, it'd be probably like a little mini SUV of some kind because I miss like the idea. I don't know that I would actually ever use it as an off-roader, but I miss the idea of having an off-road capable vehicle, and it would
Or you
be
just like something that would be better over these horrible streets, which are getting so much worse every time I
Yeah.
drive on them.
that would be nice, but it'd be a manual too. I'd like to get like a manual mini SUV of some kind, but
That would be fun.
that's on Mondays. Then on Tuesdays,
Oh boy.
I look at E46 M3s, and then on Wednesdays I look at 996s, and then on Thursdays 997s, and then it's a free for all on Fridays, and I give myself the weekends off. So
Yes.
yeah, as that goes.
So, speaking of cars, did you see the Acura Integra is coming back?
Yeah,
They're bringing it back.
better than ever.
They're bringing
Can you
it,
believe the specs?
bringing it back.
Can you believe the specs?
Oh, it's amazing.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That is to say, they have not announced
Right.
anything.
They announced the name is making a return.
Yes.
And everyone lost their minds.
The
and
internet-
this is like my worst, this is like a take I won't even tweet, but I will say it on here is that like, I wish I loved anything as much as car journalists love Acura. Like, I just don't understand. Like, this brand, like, the Acura is really nice to journalists.
Yeah,
like,
the-
Acura is good to car journalists.
Nicest in the biz.
And I just like, it's like nothing that Acura makes appeals to me now.
Yeah.
So, nothing that Acura makes in 2 years is probably going to appeal to me, including this
That's the
car
thing,
called Integra.
because it's not because the cars themselves are bad. They're probably extremely fine, as in just
Yeah.
extremely okay.
If you wanted a non-performance minded near luxury vehicle, I
Yeah.
think you could not do worse.
Yeah.
Better.
Yes.
You could do worse. You
Yeah.
could do worse.
Yeah. Like it's the type of car for me at least, if my parents went out and bought one, which they had considered an MDX at one point, and they bought it, I couldn't complain. They're not going to be unhappy with it, but like
Surely.
they could have been maybe happier with other offerings, perhaps. I don't know.
I don't know.
Because I was trying to push them towards Genesis. So, but that's the thing. I think Genesis is doing a good job of promoting exciting vehicles in their lineup, or not just doing a good job promoting, but actually producing.
Yeah.
So the car that I mean, people are talking about the TL. I'd like to drive it, a new TL to see like if there is actually a
I
hubbub.
don't think it's a TL.
Or
I think it's a TLX or a TSX.
is it a TLX? Whatever the one that was supposed to be the TL.
I don't know.
I stopped memorizing the names
Well,
because
that's
they kept
why
changing them
everyone
around.
is excited about Integra because the Integra is coming back.
Yeah, I like how they've stuck to the branding nomenclature.
Well,
with
I
that
mean, I
one.
think this is a tacit admission that the naming sucks
Or is
on
that
all their
what
cars.
the I and ILX stands for?
Maybe this is the replacement for the ILX.
It might be, except that it's only two-door.
Is it?
I think officially word from Acura is that it is a two-door.
Okay.
So, but beyond that,
Two-door ILX.
two-door ILX. It is sporting in nature per them. So what that means, it's hard to say. 2-liter, 4-cylinder, definitely the start.
Front-wheel drive
Front-wheel
with
drive.
potential rear
Yeah,
as an option.
Yep.
I mean, all-wheel is an option.
all wheels an option. Yeah. So there you go.
Anyway,
Just like the original.
Yeah, people are like turning this off in droves.
I know.
I don't know. People
Sorry.
love Acura. I don't understand it, and I'm cynical. And also, I don't like the fanfare when a name is announced and everyone loses their mind over it. Like
know.
the 8 Series. 8 Series is back. It's like they made a car and they called it 8 Series, and they got really good headlines
Yeah.
and they got lots of attention about it for a little while, and then no one cared
But
when the product was mediocre.
We'll be honest, at least, that it is a good marketing exercise in that basically some of the math has already
Sure.
been done for them.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely. Yeah, I mean, and like I guess that making anything that's not a crossover in today is like you have to like, do this kind of tricks to make it like economically viable.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Yeah, I agree with you on that because like I got a little bit excited when I saw that flash by my Instagram that the Integra was coming back, but then I realized all they showed is like a headlight and part of a grill, and that was it. But people were losing their shit, like all over story, like oh my god. And then renderings were coming out, and people kept assuming that the renderings were like the real. I don't know how many people have showed me, like DM'd me, like hey look, it's the new Integra. I'm like, no, it's not the new Integra. Like this is
Yeah.
like because it looks like the old Integra, or like people have done like retro things that would actually look great if they would be real, but it's not going to be anything like that.
Right.
So, yeah, the excitement is for naught at the moment. We should be used to this by now because this is not the first revival of a name.
No, it's not. And like I'm not mad. I'm not mad about the name. Like I don't care about the heritage.
Yeah.
I don't care. Like they they called this a Mustang and it's an
Oh.
electric. Like I don't care about that at all. Like I have no.
I think
it's
I
just
cared-
I just don't like when you get the accolades without
Yeah.
like it's very unearned.
I cared the first time I think that happened. I don't even recall what that car was. That would have been, but now I don't care anymore because I just know that it's just like a marketing exercise. Like they want you to get excited, pre-excited
Yeah.
about this thing that may or may not be anything like the original. More likely not like the original. So
Yeah.
it's fine, I guess.
I mean, Andrew Collins like offered the best response, which just made me feel like a piece of shit. Was like everything sucks, everything's a crossover. Like I just want to be excited for this.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, that's I have nothing to rebut that. That's fair, you know?
I would like to be excited about Acuras again. I mean, there was a time, like in my life, up to like basically
1992 to 1994 and a half or
yes,
something?
basically, yeah.
Okay.
Up until like the early 2000s, I'll say. Maybe the last car Acura that I looked at with like admirable eyes was probably the CL Type S.
There was a kid in my high school who got one.
Ooh.
A CL Type S.
Wow.
And like I did not like this guy. And he was like the type of person that you would not like for
Yeah.
getting who got a brand new CL Type S.
Yeah. And the thing is that like also like and
Did
at the
those
time,
come in a manual?
They did, yeah.
His wasn't.
They came in a manual. Kevin is emptying the last of this whiskey bottle out to the decanter.
yeah,
Luckily,
please.
there's a whole nother bottle next to it.
All right, yeah, I'll hold on to that.
Yeah. The thing is that, like, I don't think it was actually a good to drive automobile. I mean, it just checked boxes. It was a V6 with a 6-speed. That was good.
It was like 260 horsepower, which was
Yeah.
a lot. That
Yeah.
was a large number
It
of
was
power.
during the good power years for, like, normal cars.
But I feel like 5 years later, everything got more power than that by like a lot.
Yeah, that was impressive for the era, like
Oh,
the
it
early
absolutely
2000s.
was. It absolutely was.
Because then shortly after that, like, the Altima got, like, what?
240.
240, yeah.
Yeah.
But it had the good Honda transmission. So it was probably like a nice drive. But
It seemed huge. Like it seemed huge,
That's the
and now
thing,
it probably doesn't. But it still did have like 3 feet of
yeah.
overhangs.
I'm sure it was like it's the size of like a current Civic coupe. So, that was probably the last time I thought like, oh, it's a cool Acura of some kind. It's not for me, but like it's a cool
Yeah.
Acura. And then after that, I cannot think of like one. Okay, I will admit to doing one thing recently, and I immediately I didn't regret it, but I was like, oh, okay, no, actually, it's really boring. But I keep seeing cross tours everywhere, and on occasion,
Yeah.
for some reason now, more than when they came out, I see them everywhere.
Really?
Yeah,
I see them too, but I think it's because of the sport cross tour rivalry,
maybe.
which is a thing
Is it?
that I made up.
Of course, yeah. There can only be one cross type vehicle in this town.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, but the ZDX.
Oh, yeah.
I like sometimes I'll catch a glimpse of a ZDX and think like it's not a bad looking.
No, it's not. I mean, it was
Coupe
crazy
thing.
ahead of its time.
Yeah, and then I looked them up the other day to see like how much they were, and up close they're not great. Like 'cause
Yeah.
the pre LCI had the huge beak.
I
and
didn't
then,
know it had an LCI.
Then it had an LCI with
it's
a beak trunk.
it's yeah, it's weird.
Up
It's
close,
another
it's
one.
not
It's
so
like
great.
yet another thing where Honda, like modern day Honda.
Yeah.
We'll say modern, like anything like post 2004 to me, modern day Honda, where they like did something innovative or almost. Like they were way ahead of the
Yeah.
curve, and then they totally fumbled it because they
Yeah.
had no confidence. This is a team that this is a company that has like pulled out of Formula One like 4 times in my lifetime.
Yeah.
Like I know you don't follow Formula One, but like they will just say we're leaving. Like
Yeah.
the board decided we're not going to stay, and so
Yeah.
they just pack up and leave. Like 4 times
Yeah.
in my life since I've been watching F1, I guess.
Yeah.
And but yeah, the ZDX was way ahead of its time. If they had stuck to it, they could have maybe owned that segment
I know,
or
it was
something.
adventurous.
The CRZ is like such an icon, like it's such an icon of like it could have been
Oh, it
the
could have
first
been
performance
great.
hybrid.
Yeah.
You know, it could have been. I mean, this was like 4 years before the LaFerrari and
Yeah.
McLaren P1. All these things where it's like horsepower plus hybrid equals like more performance.
Yeah.
And the CRZ was like, no, like we're gonna let it just kind of suck and never change it, never
Yeah.
fix it, never do anything with it. And like it was, yeah. People argue like, oh, like it was never promised anything more. I'm like, yeah, exactly. Like it should,
Yeah.
it could have been more, and they didn't want it to be, and they never promised more. But like the potential was there, and it was totally unrealized.
Yeah, it's too bad. I mean, that's just it. Like, I want to be excited about like Acura. I mean, the NSX is good. I just don't like. I don't get excited about it though. Like it just doesn't seem like something that I don't know. It's just not like it doesn't have the same emotional draw as like the older cars did. And so I don't really know what to make of that. I mean, right now everyone's excited about the 400Z that's coming out, and this
Yeah.
is like a first for Nissan that people are getting excited about in Nissan, and it
Yeah.
actually does.
Are we
look good.
segueing to the Z? Because that's the
Let's
next
segue.
topic. Yeah, so the Z was shown yesterday. So when we release this, it'll probably be the Z was shown 4 weeks ago.
Yep.
But the Z, they showed the production version, and I mean, it looks great. And I think it is the sports car for this time.
Yeah.
Like it is the sports car that like there is an appetite for this sports car in this time where it's like everything about it that was good is old.
Yeah.
And everything that's like could be updated and modern and like we're
Yeah.
infotainment and interior and the engine is more powerful, like is new. And it's like I think it's kind of cool. I mean, and also the benchmark, like it just has to be better than the Supra.
Yeah.
And,
Which,
and
so
that's a
right
very
now,
low bar.
I know. I was
That's a
gonna say.
really low bar. So
Oh, yeah,
it's gonna
totally.
be better than the Supra. I mean, we can say without driving because like it's probably going to have like the older steering, the older
Yeah.
like
This is-
it's going to actually maybe have a connection that you could feel, and it's going to have a manual, and it's yeah. I mean, I don't know.
It, honestly, to me, it looks timeless already. Like
It does. It looks
design.
really good. It looks really good. Like like you see the parts that are common with the 370Z, and it's like, oh, like they kind of got a few things right with that car. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? It's like, yeah, I
It's-
like that.
it's-
I like that it's like an old car with like new bits because all of the new cars we get suck so much.
I know. It's a reprieve, and maybe that's part of the admiration we're having for it right now is that like it's such a reprieve. Like here it is. This is like a tasteful, well-intentioned design that works.
Oh,
Like
it's like, oh, it doesn't have like bad steering and a 2.2 liter four
yeah,
turbo like that
yeah.
makes with a burble tune. Like, oh, okay, I'm very on board.
I hope they make it sound good, and that it's just not going to be like
Yeah, I mean, it's gonna sound
computerized
different.
verbally.
It should sound. Yeah, it will be that, but it
Yeah.
won't sound like the old VQ,
Yeah.
even though it's VQ because it's turbo and
Turbo,
everything.
yeah. Twin turbo
Twin turbo.
charge, yeah. They should revive the old 300ZX turbo twin turbo commercial.
Did you see Chris Perkins? Like he
No.
posted stories where he posted like he was at the event in Brooklyn and he posted like 4 frames with like,
Oh,
the lines
nice.
from that commercial.
Yeah.
It was really cool. I loved it.
Oh, that would be so cool for them to revive that. Because I mean,
It's
obviously,
iconic.
right-
Wasn't that Ridley Scott?
I think it was.
It was.
Yeah. Man, Nissan was doing some really good ad
Yeah.
work back then.
Yeah.
It was Chiat Day in
Oh, okay.
LA who was doing Nissan. But yeah, I mean, that was a good era. And 300ZX is the creative work for the 300ZX especially was good.
Yeah.
Uh,
The Barbie
The
commercial.
Barbie commercial.
Oh my god, that was so
I know. Did you ever, like as a kid, order like a brochure for the 300ZX?
good. I think that was a little before my time. Like that was just a little before my time.
Okay. I don't remember. Had like one of those prestige brochures and a VHS. But I don't remember if I got. I probably didn't get that from the car show. So I must have like in the back of Car and Driver like dialed up Nissan because that's how I used to get brochures. Is I would like because they'd have the 1-800 number,
Uh-huh.
and then like I would call and like in my high pitched voice like order this brochure. And the only time someone did not send one to me because they thought it was like crank calling or something was for the Mazda Millennia. I had like called in and they were like, "How old are you?" Like, blah blah blah. And then she took my information and never sent me the brochure. I was so
Oh my
upset because I
God.
really wanted that.
I only started getting brochures like that like once I got the internet or once I got access to the internet. Sometimes I would go to the library and I
Yeah.
would order car brochures from the library. And I remember having like the 240SX brochure, like the final year. I had a
Wow.
Supra brochure the final year.
Nice.
And NSX, but the Z was already gone. But
Yeah.
as you know, my history with the Z, well, first of all, like when I was a kid, one of my dad's friends, like a former coworker of his, had a 300ZX twin turbo,
Yeah.
and I rode in it in like 1991.
Oh, nice.
And I remember it being like fast, but I don't remember much else. It was black. It
Yeah.
was it was cool. It was extremely cool.
Any sports car, like when you were a kid, seemed fast
Of
compared
course.
to your parents' cars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially, yeah. So, but as you know, and I've talked about, I had a 350Z.
Yeah.
Which I.
What year was it?
It was an '05
LCI.
pre-LCI.
Oh, pre-LCI.
It was the last year pre-LCI.
Okay.
And it was such a good car. Like it was. I mean, I never had any kind of like reliability issues, even though I abused it. It
Yeah.
was good. I didn't love the ergonomics. I didn't love some things with that, but I still like. I think the styling has really aged well.
I do too, actually.
I think they're
I did a search for them because I thought it would be kind of cool, and they're almost retro now.
Yeah.
Like the original in the copper color,
oh yeah.
just clean as you can get. And of course, like 90% of them are destroyed
Oh,
now.
yes. Oh,
so
yes.
it almost like a perfect one almost seems cool.
Yeah, totally.
So and they're not that expensive. Like I was kind of surprised that they were pulling like 15 for like a good clean one, but I mean if it's
all day long. I mean, you just know how that's
Yeah.
especially in this used car
yeah,
economy.
it's probably that too.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, that would be kind of cool. What do you think of the yellow? Does it fit that car? I saw a couple of yellow ones. It seemed fine, but I can never tell sometimes if like I'm ambitious with yellow
Yeah.
as a like exciting color.
It's I don't know if it can pull off yellow because it's kind of like a big car for there's a lot of yellow.
Yeah. It's slab-sided, so I guess it doesn't break up much.
Yeah, the first one I drove was yellow.
Yeah.
I drove one. Cause they only offered yellow for 2005.
Yeah.
and I
Oh,
drove one
interesting.
when I was in college. I don't know if I've told this story on here, but we're gonna hear it again.
Oh my God.
But I used to in college in Waco.
Yep.
I would just go for a drive like all the time because I don't know if there was like good roads, but I would go. There was like the airport there had one runway,
Yeah.
and there was a road that went around it that like basically went around the perimeter of the runway, like
Yeah.
fenced off.
Yeah.
And so that's like it was like kind of a like there was like sharp corners
Okay.
and good visibility, and I would just drive on that road like as fast as I
Oh,
could,
nice.
and then come back or like drive around like the lake or something, and
Yeah.
then come back, and that was like a really pleasant drive. I
Yeah.
enjoyed it, and so my friend Tara's boyfriend visited, and he had a 350Z, and it was yellow, and it
Yeah.
was so cool. And I was like, you got to take me for a ride in it, and I'll show you where we can go. I'll show you like a cool road, And he was really nice, and we went, and like he like really did not know what he was doing driving, not just the road, but
Yeah.
just kind of really stumbling
Manual?
through. Like, yeah, it was manual, and he was really like fumbling with trying to drive fast,
Yeah.
and he let me drive,
Yeah.
and I schooled him.
Oh my
It
God.
was,
You
but
showed him what's what?
Yeah, I showed him what's what because I knew the corner and stuff, and it was like it wasn't. I didn't like exceed the limits of the car or even push the car.
Yeah.
But I just I was like, well, I can go as fast as I go in the cars I drive.
Yeah.
So I did that, and it seemed fast, But
At
it
the
felt,
time, the
but it
Probe
felt
GT?
right. Probe GT, but there was a summer. This might have been my last summer in college. No, maybe not. But there was a summer where I had the 530 BMW because
Oh yeah, that's right.
my dad traded with me because like I don't know, the AC and the Probe GT was broken.
Was that actually like quick in any way?
It wasn't quick, but it was nice.
Yeah.
Like it was like it handled well. It was nice to drive. Like it wasn't quick.
Yeah.
I mean, those BMW V8s in that time, maybe the M5 is different, maybe the 540 is different, but like no, because I remember this from Daniel's 740 also.
Yeah.
Like it puts out so much energy. It's just like cooling and noise
Yeah.
and just like heat.
Yeah.
And then there's like power is like the fifth byproduct. Like it doesn't feel fast, but it's like so much like
Yeah.
like fan and vacuum noise and stuff.
I could
but
see
yeah,
that.
that 530, you just always felt like you were like working this thing.
That's
Like,
interesting that
if you got on it, it just felt like, oh, like
Yeah.
I'm working this delicate
that's
tiny
so
motor.
interesting that that would even be the case with Daniel's car. I guess that would have been kind of same-ish era. Well, they kind of like overlapping eras.
I mean, the engine was the same. Like, I
Yeah.
mean, the engine, like the
Wait, the 3-liter was
No.
related to the 4-liter?
yeah.
Oh,
So
I didn't know that.
BMW didn't build a V8 until BMW didn't build a V8 from like the 1950s until the 1990s
Yeah.
or 89 or whatever. And when they introduced the 530. And they introduced the 3-liter V8 and the 4-liter V8.
Yeah.
And the 4-liter became a 4.4. And I'm not sure. Daniels was probably a 4.4, but they were all related.
Okay,
they
like
were all
same block
It
or
was the
something?
same. Yeah, it was the same engine architecture, just kind
Oh.
of like an M96 was like several different displacements.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they were all very similar.
Yeah.
And
Except that
Yeah.
one was the worst one.
the 530
3-liter.
was the
Yeah.
3-liter was the worst one. Yes.
Yeah. I'm surprised that I've never driven, I don't think, a V8 BMW.
Have you not driven an E90 M3?
I'm trying to think if I have. I might have at some point in time, but that would have been modern. I was just trying to think of like the fact that I know the fan noise you're talking about, where it's just like it seems like it's just sucking in a lot of air or something.
Yes.
Or it needs a
But
lot
it
of
just
air.
like seems like a vacuum. I remember in this is like the stupidest thing. I remember like I had to sell something like door to door in high school for some club I was in.
Yeah.
And like I think my mom like helped me, and she was like dropped me off in the neighborhood. I mean, I
Yeah.
was like, in high school, but I didn't have a car or anything. It was like, so she's like driving kind of along while I'm walking like house to house or
Yeah.
whatever, and it's just like all this noise, but it's all fan and vacuum. Like it just sounded like a vacuum cleaner, because it's
That's
just so much of that.
Curious because like
I think the 740 is kind of the same. You know, on
Yeah.
our road trip, I was around it when we drove it to Oregon. Like I
Yeah.
was around it, and it's like it's a lot of.
That's so interesting because the Celsior, like, was so quiet. Like, even on acceleration, all you got was like the kind of very slight hum, but it was a very V8 hum, but very little fan noise whatsoever. I'm kind of curious if Mercedes at the time, those V8s, if they were a little bit more quiet. We drove one, the 300. Oh, was it 300 SL or 280 SL?
Oh,
No,
it was a
280 is a
460.
V6 or an inline six. 460 SEL. SCC. No, god damn it, SL.
SL R107 SL.
R107, yeah.
He's referring to a Turo I had in LA.
Yeah. And when it was like freezing, it was freezing for some reason. I remember that because you would put the top down with your hoodie up. I think
That's
maybe
a
it was just
good
when we
memory.
were
Probably we were like up at Angeles Crest.
I think we were in the canyons. Or
we were
something like
we
that.
were way up in the mountains, so
Yeah.
it was got cold, and it was like wet. It was wet. It was like rainy.
It was
and
raining.
yeah,
It was like the
That
rare
was-
rainy
that
like
was fun.
weekend.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was like a 4.6
That
V8.
car, I do remember, like it didn't make it like a nice noise or anything like that, but like there was a noise. Something was going on.
Oh yeah, things were
Not
happening.
acceleration.
No,
but
no.
something was going on when you like
Yeah.
hammered it.
Yeah, oh, that was great.
Yeah, and then that was the same time when I had Touroed a Alpha 4C, and we both went up and did GMR, Glendora Mountain Road.
Mm-hmm.
There could not be like two more like cars far apart as far as like.
But in
doing
those
that.
conditions, like the SL
The
gave
SL
so
was
much confidence.
fun. It was
'Cause
actually really fun.
It was fun, but like it was confidence inspiring.
Yeah.
I would not want to drive like
Oh
very
no.
fast in the 4C.
No, the
'cause it's
4C,
like
you
I
just got to the corner so fast that I was like, I could die right now.
Well,
So,
and it just seemed like I don't know exactly what it's going to do. Whereas the Mercedes, like you had so much predictability.
yeah.
Like it just leaned, it communicated,
Yeah,
and so
it had so much lane at 5 miles an hour as you were taking that turn.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
but it was fast. Like I think I could have kept up with
No,
you
what
anywhere,
I-
or and vice versa, just because
Yeah.
of the confidence that
Well,
you had in the car.
it had
what
that
was
old
doing.
car thing where it definitely at least gave you the sensation of fast, even if you were just going like a relatively safe speed still.
Yeah.
Which is kind of because it's body lean and everything else, the noises. But anyways, we diverge.
Yeah, we were talking about Z's, I think.
The Z's, yeah. So
Yeah.
we're excited.
Yeah, so I mean, it looks good. I think the styling
So,
is really good.
That's the thing. So this is, I guess it's not really a revival since we've had the Z, but it's a revival. It's revival styling.
It's the most decidedly retro
Yeah.
Z.
So here's the thing, like this, like it's old school in many ways, and we're excited. Are we excited because it's old school? I don't think so. I think it's because it's a really nice package. Like they've done such a nice job with the design. Like from concept to production car, it didn't change a lot.
No,
They
not
just
at all.
shortened like the grill mesh a little bit, it looked like.
Yeah.
But otherwise, like everything, there's nothing offensive about it, or very little.
Well, because my thing is
It's also not overly ambitious. Sorry, I had to interject with that because I was just thinking about like why don't I like the NSX more just as like a product in a vacuum. There's just like I don't know, because it's very ambitious and I'm sure again it's good. It's just there's nothing that draws out any emotion for me. Like this Z, I'm starting to feel like a little bit of emotion for it, even though I haven't sat in one.
Yeah. I mean, the NSX also it's unobtainable. I know that it brings hypercar tech to sub $200,000, but that's still not really attainable. So it's it's another thing. I won't really comment on it. It's not relevant to me. Every sports car, I mean, we've seen like sports cars. It's been this great time for sports cars that are $100,000 with like the 718 Spider or the Cayman GT4. It's a great time for if you want to spend $100,000 on a sports car or $250,000 on a sports car.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of good news in the last decade for sports cars that are $50,000 or less.
True.
And every single thing that we've gotten is like there's an asterisk. It's like, oh, like here's the C8 Corvette. It's like, well, you can't get a manual. And I know that's like above 50, but it's like, oh, there's no manual. It's like the Supra, no manual and other issues.
Yeah.
you
Which I
know,
don't think that would even fix that car much.
it wouldn't fix
So,
it, but there's a greater chance of maybe having a connection to it
yeah,
that was
it would
absent.
be more engaging,
It would be more engaging,
like to
which
that
is
point,
like
to that level.
desperately
Yeah,
what it needs.
yeah.
I don't. It wouldn't fix it, but just so to have like, hey, like here's a 400 horsepower sports car that's affordable that you can connect with. That like, hey, the suspension, a lot of this stuff is probably still carryover, which was
Yeah.
never bad.
Yeah.
So it probably has good feel, good steering, good chassis.
For once, like the iterative nature of
Right, that's what I'm
disease.
saying. That's why I think this is the right time for like an old sports car. And also people are probably screaming because I'm not talking about like, oh, like if you want a sports car, like there's the Mustang, a Camaro, and I know like whatever.
Yeah.
It's just not for
That's
me.
it's even more out of our realm than Acura's, I'm afraid.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll stick to the topics that we barely know anything
And,
about.
I mean, and the Miata, love Miata. Like,
yeah.
it's just
Different-
it's not,
different class.
different class.
Yeah,
And
so- And also along those lines, GT86
yes.
is also now refreshed and been receiving some pretty good reviews.
Yeah, I haven't watched the things, but I'm curious. Like,
Yeah,
I'd definitely
I am
love
too.
to check it out.
Yeah, because and like part of it, people of course are talking about the fact that it has more power now, more displacement, more power, which was the thing that like in the past was always the thing that people kept saying don't get hung up on it, that it doesn't have more power, and now it has more power, and it seems to, it's not everything, but it seems to have fulfilled at least part of the equation as to like what it was lacking in the past. So.
Yeah.
And it like at least on paper, it seems to be like decently quick for what it is. I mean, it's a 2.4 liter 4-cylinder.
Okay.
Now does 0 to 60 in mid fives or something like that.
That's
So
pretty good.
yeah, it's pretty good. And I like that we're living in a time where like you can eke that out of a naturally aspirated 4-cylinder.
Yeah, well, I like that they're offering a naturally aspirated 4-cylinder.
Yeah,
Although
yeah.
I'd want a turbo also. It's like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I
That
want what everybody have. Every single car with a 2-liter 4 turbo is like, fuck this.
Yeah.
And then the one car that's NA, I'm like, oh, it'd be cool if they had a turbo
Yeah.
on it. It's,
And cars that have not, however, been revived very well in even modern times, with the 2 Series. And here's the thing: is you didn't like the 2 Series, the first gen 2 Series.
yeah, I think the other
anyways.
2 Series sucks. I think it's just the styling sucks.
I don't think it sucks. I don't think that it's like beautiful, but I think it's extremely unoffensive. Like, which is kind of what old BMWs were. They
It's
were
just, like,
Teutonic.
really jelly beany. Like, I don't know. Like,
I don't.
it just
I mean,
sucks.
here, I do prefer the 1 Series, but I didn't when it first came out. It's grown on me, and I think it's just more exciting because it looks so different. But it's
the
still
2
taut.
Series is never going to grow because it's like, it's so boring.
Yeah. Well, I'll argue with you on the boring thing. I think it's unoffensive, not necessarily boring.
I think it's just boring and
I don't know about that. Like,
And I'm talking not about the M2. I'm talking about just the regular 2 Series.
I think like that would. I think that the 2 Series, in its most basic form, was a very appealing car. Like a 228i with a manual was extremely appealing because it was, one, unoffensive, but two, like a decently good driving car, and it was just enough like for what it was. Maybe the M235i, it was a fine automobile. I've actually not heard very good things from owners. And the M2 is whatever it is. So
Sure.
at one point, I thought, for myself at least, desirable, and now less so nowadays. But I think that was fine. The current one is atrocious.
The new one that they showed?
That they tried to tone down from their current design language, which, and I say that even loosely because I don't even think it adheres. It obviously doesn't adhere to their current design language because it has like a reasonable sized grill, but is also like the headlights are really weird. The side surfacing is really weird.
I like the side surfacing. I like the
you?
proportion
I don't like that.
of it. I like the proportion. Like, it's a...
Really, the hood is so long compared to the rest of the body. Like, I think it's a little bit weird looking. I like the kind of bubbliness of the 2 Series, the original or the first gen
like
2
I
Series.
said, I didn't like that car. I thought it sucked.
I guess.
Visually, it sucked. Also, philosophically, it sucked. This one maybe is better.
Maybe. but overall the design though,
Yeah,
like
I like it better.
really?
Yeah,
Oh my
absolutely.
God. Okay, that's
It's like a
surprising. That's
lot.
shocking to me.
It's so much more. Like yeah, like at first I was like, oh, I don't really like this, and then you look at an old 2 Series, and it was just so bland and watered down. Everything was soft. Like it didn't. It was kind of like, um, it was kind of like a baby like E92 almost, and I hate the
You
E92.
do hate the E92,
It
but
was kind of like that kind of
the only thing
proportion.
you didn't like about the E92 was like the distance between the door and the fender.
I hate that the
or the wheel
E92 is
arch.
like this weird half-hearted wedge shape. Like the front droops down so much. Like
I
they didn't try to
agree
make
with
it look
you
muscular or anything.
only in certain like base trims where the wheels are far too little.
No, I'm talking about
for
just
the body.
the body. I can
But I
separate
don't
the body
mind the
from the
body.
wheels.
I don't mind the body.
I hate the body.
I know.
It's just so like drawn with like without confidence.
Really, I think that it's I think that it is, but I that's the thing. Like as a form in a vacuum, again, just
Like the E90 is so much more successful. Like the E90 is drawn so much more. Like their lines are so much stronger and sharper, and that have meaning. Like the shape is so much better on the E90.
I mean, I would agree with you only because I've owned two of them, but I don't think that the E92 is that bad.
But everything they changed, they made worse.
What do you mean? In which car? To
In the
what car?
E92,
Oh,
like everything
E90 to
that's changed
E92?
from the E90, like it's worse.
I don't think
It's
so.
softer. It's worse. It's just generic.
I think the fascia looks good, especially in the pre-LCI, where we're actually using LCI correctly.
Okay, we try not to do that on this program.
Anyways, yes, like I think it was a good translation of
Okay, so we're talking
that
about the
design
2
language.
Series.
But the new 2 Series, I think, it suffers from one thing. You spoke about confidence. I think here's the thing: is that every single front does not have any relation to the rear,
Okay,
and
I
the
don't
sides
like the
have no
rear.
any relation to the fronts or the rear.
I like the sides. The fronts and rear are the weaker points for me.
Again, we have these weird things where it's just like, hey, I have all these. I like the designers were like, we have all these ideas. What should we do? And the answer was yes. So like, save for the fact that it doesn't have like an enormous grille because they couldn't fit it onto the smaller body. Although they had to fit.
That'll come in the LCI.
That'll come in the LCI, I'm sure. I'm sure there will be eBay kits for people, for lovers of the enormous grill. But otherwise, like, I think it's, again, a very confused design. And I'm not just hating on modern BMWs because I would like to like
do.
this one.
I do. Like, so I hate on modern BMW.
Yes.
I hate.
But you
I
don't
hate
dislike this one.
Right, but I hate all BMWs because I hate. Like, I'm not biased. I just hate the company that makes them.
Of course. Yeah.
So.
Oh, I was telling you the other day, and I could not believe I was saying this because I didn't think it would actually happen. Obviously, given time, like things that we dislike in the past, we've had time to settle with it, and also now we have new things to like measure against it.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw an X7 the other day, and I just thought to myself, I guess that's not as bad looking as I thought it was. I don't think it's
Wow.
good looking, but I don't think it's as bad as I used to think it was.
Well, this was the last episode of New for 96, so thanks for listening.
Oh God. So I don't know if we'll ever think of that.
Can you think of another? Okay, Can you think of anything that's like not 2 years old where you didn't like it when it came out, like 20 years ago, and you do like it now?
Yeah, the 1 Series. I didn't like the 1 Series when it first
Oh,
came
yeah.
out, and or the E60.
Well, I mean, not
5
BMW,
Series.
just in general.
Oh, just in general.
Yeah, just like anything.
Yeah, there are plenty of examples. I can't think of them now because we're so like I'm now hot-minded on BMW.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, a lot of the Bengal cars that fits.
honestly, like even just things like the RX 300 and the ML 320, like when they first came out, I was
Oh,
like,
yeah.
they look so like weird and like squished together. When I was
Right.
so used to like these big honking SUVs, and then like over time, when my mind like forgave, and also it just became a new class of car.
Yeah.
Now I think the RX 300 looks like retro futuristic, and the ML looks pretty good too.
Totally.
First gen with two-tone cladding. I
the
think it's pretty
cladding.
good.
I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I didn't like the Aston Vanquish.
Yeah.
The real one. They've used that name a few times.
Yes.
The real one.
Yeah.
I didn't like the Vanquish when it came out. I thought it was too vulgar.
Yeah.
Now everything's vulgar.
And
So
everything's
it's
vulgar.
like, oh, it looks fine.
Everything is multiple times more vulgar, so now that
Oh,
looks
yeah.
discreet.
It does, yeah.
So,
For sure.
Yeah. So given time, I wonder if our eyes will soften a little bit. But here's the thing, though. Like back to BMW, like like given time, the E60 now looks pretty good, and
Yeah.
now we also the anger has like now come from a boil to a simmer to nothing, and we can actually see Bangle's design intent behind it, and it's good. Like
Yeah, well, I mean, the people after him had no intent, so
yeah.
you
Well,
know.
that's the thing. So I don't know if like we're gonna look at modern day BMWs and say like, boy, we misjudged that one. Like because it- there is no intent. There's no arguing. Like I don't think you can argue for any of these designs. They are marketing exercises. The algorithm has said people like this, and then the 3D printer like made it. So like that's what
Yeah.
it is.
Should we do FMK?
FMK. We haven't done it in a second since
It's
episode 67, I think. So let's do
so that
it.
was like 8 months or 3 episodes ago.
Yeah. So we're gonna do
So I'll go through the rules while you queue up the thing.
yeah.
But this is Fuke, Marry, Kill. The play on words with the Fuchs wheel design, obviously. You know this. And it's a basic FMK with cars from a certain year. And this year, we've
Is
chosen
new for
86.
1986, not 2086.
Did we never did 1996.
I don't know.
I
Maybe
think we're saving that for when we take
an
like our
anniversary
suicide
episode.
pills. we have the
Yeah.
the Nikes and the Kool-Aid, and
Yep,
we
yep.
do the 1996.
That's our first. It's gonna be our second get together. So, okay, new for 1986. Boy, there were some cars.
Were there?
Maybe a little bit.
Okay, all right. Let's not spend too much time on the foreign market ones that we have no idea what they are unless they're hilarious.
There are a couple
Unless
of
they're
these. Yeah, there are a couple
hilarious.
here. I want to take a look at here a little bit closer. But okay, so I guess why don't you go first?
Wait, are we just reading through them, or
Oh,
are
you know
we
what? I'm
doing-
sorry. I forgot already the rules. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna flip through the list really quick, and then we'll go back.
And we pick for each other.
We'll pick for each other.
So I pick 3 for you, and
Yeah.
you make a determination.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So we're gonna read through the list.
Okay. As a whole, Acura was formed in 1986. That's the first time I've actually seen this list. We're just using Wikipedia. Like actually talk about an entire car company. But okay, the Legend came out. That's
Good.
cool. I don't know what an Aleco is. V8 Zagato,
Have
Aston
you
Martin.
seen that? Do you know the 80s V8 Zagato Aston Martin?
I believe so. Yes. But
Okay.
yes, this is very cool.
All right.
E32,
E32,
So the
the
7 Series?
BMW M3,
the BMW M3.
the Elante. I didn't know it went back this early.
I guess it. I was gonna say. Oh, I almost said like, oh, maybe in the European markets, but it's a domestic car.
Ish.
Ish. Yeah. Yeah. I had no idea either. Wow. 86. Okay. Citroen AX. I don't recall what that one was, and it does not matter.
Yes.
Or the Citroen Zabrus.
Okay, there's some K car based Dodges that we're
Yeah.
gonna skip over.
Dacias, Daewoo's, Daihatsus.
Ford Sierra RS Cosworth.
Yeah, the F Series on its 8th generation in 1986. The Taurus, of course.
Oh wow,
Taurus.
I did watch RoboCop in the last month and a half.
Yeah.
So I appreciate the Taurus more.
The Holden Commodore. We did not get that. The Hyundai Grandeur, which
Wait, was this the first year the XJ Cherokee?
I guess so. Yeah. Oh no, wait.
Jaguar XJ.
Jaguar. You're talking about the YJ.
No, I'm not talking.
Wrangler.
I read that as
Oh,
Jeep.
extra.
I read that as Jeep. They're next to
Actually,
each
I
other.
did too for a second. When you said that, my mind saw a Jeep.
Okay, all right. So the XJ, not a great one.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay. So. Okay. Do you know what a Lamborghini Militaria is?
I
'Cause
think it's a
don't.
military MLM 002.
You are correct.
Okay, so we got
That's
the
like a Jeep-like
LM
thing.
002,
Yep.
Mercury Sable, some things.
Wait, hang on.
959.
Oh, the 959. Wait. I thought that came out. Yeah, I guess it would have been.
The concept was earlier, but the production was 86, I guess.
I guess
Or
so.
86 model year.
Can we talk about the Nayayo car?
God damn it.
How? Oh, I like that. Like the car. Like so ambitious was this that they just called it car. Also, Puli car. Renaults, we have no concept of those. Rovers, Seats. Do you know what a Shelby GLHS is?
Oh, I do. I knew a guy in high school who was like really into those. He literally had one.
yeah. Oh, is that a Dodge Omni?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He had he had like a Shadow one or something. I don't
Ooh.
know. It was worse, but
My God.
um,
Okay, TVR.
some Volvos that I've never heard of.
The 480 was the hatchback.
Ooh, that's cool.
This is a cool one.
That's cool.
And of course, the 780 is the Bertone model.
Oh, I like those.
Yeah.
So, and then
oops,
the last one.
the last one. I'm gonna let you pronounce this.
Oh, fuck that. No, you read it.
No,
You have
it's
to read it.
Not as racist if I read it.
You
so.
have to read it. That's why.
It's the Yue Loong Feeling. Literally, the last word is just feeling. It's YueLoong feeling, and well, it's as dismal as you might think it is. It is a Chinese market fastback, and it is based on nothing.
You longed that loving feeling.
Oh dear. Oh wait, it is based on something like a Nissan or something. Anyways, it doesn't matter.
So, all right.
All right.
Well, this is
FMK.
unlistenable.
All right.
I will pick for you. Have you made your choices? Are you ready?
Yes, but I may have to adjust mine
Oh,
based on what
okay.
you say.
All right. Okay. Acura Legend, BMW M3, LM002.
All right then. I guess I am going to F the LM002 because who wants to actually own that on a day-to-day basis?
Mm-hmm.
I am going to. I should marry the M3, and that's what I'm gonna do. And then I'll kill the Acura Legend because while I love it, I'm sure it's just like NCAR. So
Wow, that was a real turn.
That's
that
right.
was good. That's
that's what this game's all about,
yeah,
buddy.
That's why we have all those 5-star reviews.
Oh my God! All right, for you, the Cadillac Alante,
Okay.
the Ford Taurus.
Ooh.
Yeah, I'm giving you some good stuff here, and the Volvo 780. How about that?
Ooh.
No prestige options.
I I noticed. What was the first one?
The first one was the Alante,
And the second one?
and the second one was the Taurus, and then the 780 Bertone.
I think I will F the Alante,
Mm-hmm.
M the Volvo,
Mm.
and K the Taurus.
That is probably the correct way to go because the Taurus also just drives like NCAR. So, and
Yeah.
The-
There's like a million of them. If I
know.
wanted to drive that Taurus, it would not be hard.
I would have given you the 959 as an option, but that's a little,
It's kind of
touching my nose.
Yeah, exactly. It kind of swings the deck.
I know. Anyways, well, that was a riveting game.
I think it was certainly a game.
A game, yeah.
Yes.
Much like some of these are just NCARs.
And some of these episodes are just an episode.
Yeah. Anyways, thanks for listening. That was that was an episode.
That was an episode.
Yeah. Thanks for listening, and do follow us on Instagram at New496. Twitter all the same.
Email us at new496 spelled out at Gmail.
Yeah, and we will talk to you the next time. Goodbye.
Bye.